Hey there friends, welcome back to Lydia's Plate. Today I am going to bring you some shepherd's pie and some homestead projects and tips. I hope you enjoy and stay tuned. So I'm starting off with some Peter's Special Winter Bread. That was a recipe that came with this bread maker. So that's what I'm going to start off with because I think that's going to be yummy with our shepherd's pie. And I'm making it kind of first thing in the morning once I'm all ready to go. That way it is fully done and cooled and will cut nicer. Now I did spill some flour on the floor, which kind of annoyed me, but that's okay. I will get it swept up after I get this bread going. So tip number one for anybody who doesn't know, when you're filling in flour into a bin such as I am doing, it will more likely fit and make less of a mess if you keep the bag nice and close and don't let it poof up. If you keep that airlock kind of and slowly bring the bag up as the bag empties, then it will fit better than if you let it get all fluffy and sifted as you're pouring it in there. Alright, so this is later into the afternoon already, and now I'm going to start cleaning up so I can be ready for the shepherd's pie. The dishwasher is almost full, but I want to see if I can't get a few more things into there. First, I'm going to start with the potatoes. I need to get potatoes peeled and cooking so I can make the mashed potatoes for on top. I also need this cream cheese from the freezer, and I've got an onion. One of the kids is going to get me some carrots, which we had some massively huge carrots last year. I had even forgotten how big they were, so it was fun to see them again. I also have 2 packages of ground beef here as I'm doing a double recipe of this shepherd's pie. I am using the Rita tomato knife here, and it is very sharp, but it nicely grabs the onion instead of me having to push hard and the onion wanting to slip away from me. I find that this knife works the best for cutting onions, and I love their knives. I know I mentioned them in one of my very first videos that I ever did, but boy do I love the Rita products that I have. This video is not sponsored, but their knives are such good quality. They have lifetime warranty. They're so affordable. Like, I think this knife was, I don't know, $7 or $8 Canadian, and I just love it. It works so well. I have their potato peelers, I have their cheese knife, I have so many products from them, and I have not come across one yet that I do not love. So there we go, that was that massively huge carrot. I find putting my compost pail into the sink helps keep the mess more contained, and it also helps speed up the process because the majority of the peelings are going right into the pail then, and I just have to clean up whatever falls beside, which is a lot quicker and a lot less than just peeling it all into the sink. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, my potatoes are homegrown, and homegrown potatoes, if they're not watered regularly, like I rarely water my garden. I kind of just expect it to do its own thing once I've planted it and weeding it. And so some years, if we don't get enough rainfall, then sometimes that means that when we finally do get rain, the potatoes grow very quickly all at once, and then that means that they grow so fast that they end up hollow on the inside. And so the potato itself is not bad. It just means that when you grab a really huge potato and you think, oh, I've got a nice huge potato, you might cut it open and find out there's only like half the potato there that you thought was there because the inside is all hollow. And I don't know if I would actually have to cut that part out. I just always have because it looks unappetizing to me. So somebody has brought me peppers up from downstairs. This recipe is supposed to have onions, carrots, and celery, but I currently don't have celery, so I'm using some of my many chopped peppers that were left over last year. We had a very bountiful harvest, and so those peppers have been so convenient to have chopped and ready to go in the freezer. Now I had forgotten, as has been the case for the last how many weeks, that when I'm peeling potatoes, I want to keep my potato peels because I would like to try to make potato vinegar. I'm already making kombucha, and I have found that if kombucha is left too long, it just turns into vinegar, and I've seen and heard of so many people who are making their own apple cider vinegar, which is basically all the same process, just done with apple peels and cores. So I want to make a potato vinegar because that is more similar, to my understanding at least. Potato vinegar is more similar to the white vinegar that we see in the stores, and so that's what I would like to experiment with here and see if I can do. So I don't have a whole jar here, and I currently don't have a SCOBY, so I'm going to pour some cold water over these peels. Once I have supper all going, I'll put that jar full in the fridge, and then it will sit in the fridge until I can separate another SCOBY off of all the SCOBYs in my kombucha jars. I've got the potatoes going on the oven now, and give that ground beef a stir again. And now it's time to get this carrot chopped. The recipe does say that the carrot can go right in the beginning, but I like to let my meat brown a little bit before I add it. I don't want it to brown all the way because then I find the carrot is still quite crunchy, not fully cooked enough to my tastes by the time the shepherd's pie is all baked and done. Now I'm just trying to shove those carrots as far to the bottom of the pot or into the liquid as I can, so that will help aid in quicker cooking for them. This recipe is also going to use quite a few garlic cloves, so I'm going to get them all peeled and ready into this bowl where the carrots were, so that when the time comes, they're there and ready for me. The shepherd's pie also has tomato paste, chicken stock, Worcestershire sauce, oh boy, chili powder, oregano, salt and pepper. I'm trying to prep this all and get it ready so that once my beef mixture is ready for all the extra add-ins, all I have to do is dump them in. That way I have everything ready to go and put away, cleaned up. It just makes everything go that much faster for me. Now, on kind of a sad note, I forgot that I was doubling this, and I did not double the cornstarch that was supposed to go in. I remembered to double everything else, but I forgot to double the cornstarch, so it was more liquidy than what it should have been, which it was still super tasty, and as leftovers when we ate it, all of that extra moisture was just right. It wasn't near as soupy as it was the first night that we ate it, but I went against my better judgment. I even thought in my head I should put a cookie sheet under this in case it goes over, and I didn't. And so now I've had to deal with that food burning smell every time I turn my oven on for this whole last week. So a word to the wise and to myself, next time I really should put a cookie sheet underneath when I think I should, because it will make life that much easier. Should have listened to my gut intuition. Now in the meantime, while the potatoes and the meat are all cooking and doing their thing, I'm going to get these carrots cleaned up. Travis brought me a whole pail inside of carrots, and so that just means that the kids won't have to go outside to the garage for carrots for a while until these are all used up. And with Fridge Smarts, they do store very well in the fridge. It just means that now I'll have containers of carrots taking up fridge space rather than sitting out in the garage, which is okay. We're not getting near as many eggs right now, so we don't need all that extra space in the fridge that we normally need for eggs. So I'm not peeling them or anything, I'm just getting them washed, and then they're going to sit in these Fridge Smarts in the fridge. The really huge one though, I did have to chop that one up because it was not going to fit into my Fridge Smarts. I already have my largest Fridge Smart full of lettuce in the fridge. I did finally break down and buy some lettuce when I was in town because my kale just wasn't growing fast enough. It's finally till the size now, I think, where we could start eating from it, but it wasn't at this point when I bought the lettuce, and so my fridge is going to be quite full of Fridge Smarts now after this. I think I've puzzled the dishwasher as full as I can now, so some soap, get it going, and that way, by the time supper is all done, the dishwasher is done as well, and it can be unloaded and loaded with all of the supper dishes. This is totally unrelated to the shepherd's pie or supper, but for breakfast we had decided we just wanted to do something different, and so we had done sausage on this indoor electric grill, and that way it saved the oven elements for the pancakes. Instead, I had 2 pans going with pancakes, and I did the sausage on this grill. Alright, so that meat is all browned. I'm going to start getting all the garlic into here. There were 6 cloves that went into the meat mixture, and there were another 3 cloves that will go in later into the potatoes. And then I can add all the seasonings and the chicken broth and tomato paste. As I was working away here, my potatoes started to go over, so another tip or trick that I've learned is if you put a wooden utensil over the pot, the bubbles will hit that utensil and then your potatoes should not boil over. It has worked for me ever since I have learned about it and actually used it. So hopefully that will help somebody watching this video as well. You can see how liquidy this meat mixture is. It should have been a little bit thicker, but as I said, when we ate the leftovers later on throughout the week, they were not too moist at all. So maybe it wasn't a bad mistake to have made. Just I should have put the cookie sheet underneath. So now onto the mashed potatoes. I'm just holding the lid onto there and using that as a strainer. Strained off the potatoes. Now I'm going to add the cream cheese, the garlic cloves, some salt, pepper, and some shredded marbled cheese. I'm also going to shred enough marbled cheese to sprinkle over the top of the entire casserole. I didn't want to make another dish dirty, so I took the cleaner of the 2 pot lids and just shredded the cheese right onto there. Now this all will go into the oven for about 45 minutes to bake, and I will do my best to remember to include the recipe in the description box. I had to very carefully scoop the potatoes all over the meat mixture. If I had just plopped it all on, the potatoes would have filled up the whole middle and the meat mixture would have just come up the sides, and it wouldn't have been a nice even distribution of everything. So I was trying to be very careful here and try to get things as even as I could. And it's shepherd's pie, so I left it looking kind of rustic and didn't try to make it too perfect. Alright, and we served this with make your own salad. So I had croutons, bacon bits, salad toppers, so that's just a craisin and nut seed mix, and I made some homemade creamy poppy seed dressing, and then we had that bread sliced into little strips with butter. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've gotten another idea for on your plate, and hopefully I've been able to pass on some tips and tricks to you as well to help you out in your life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye everyone!